Alright. Now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Imperator Rome Invictus here on the Lord Master channel. And I know the first thing that you people are thinking of, as this is my first video in over a month or so, is that, Lord Master, what are you doing back on Imperator Rome? Weren't you supposed to do a Crusader Kings 3 video series? Well, yes, but after too many delays, and then there's another DLC coming up for CK3 which may further delay the plans to do a Sicily video series a bit more, in which I kind of lost my patience and decided, well, I'm going to need to do some content, because people are wondering whenever I'm going to come back. And also, is Lord Master dead or not? No, I'm very much alive and well. Thank you very much. But anyways, now, after a minute's introduction. Now, to make up for lost time, I will be doing a new Imperator Rome Invictus series under this version of 1.8 Midas, which, expands a few things, but, however, all these additions and changes is not going to be relevant to the area of where I'm going to be playing at, because it's going to be a much different series than I did for Sogdia and Arabia, and which I was looking up, on YouTube the other night, where I was like, okay, who hasn't done a video series on which area in particular? And the one thing that I find it rather astonished was, how come nobody's ever done an Indian-centric series? And yet, I'm the guy who's done a few Indian playthroughs in some of the Paradox Interactive games in the past, most notably Chola and Gupta and Sana Yadava. That's all in the video order. So, let's go back to the time of classical antiquity, which of course that's still considered ancient India. Classical India doesn't come until centuries later. So, India will be the one there, which a couple of Indian nations does have missions of its own. Most notably Maurya, the largest, Anuradhapura, which somebody has done a playthrough on that. There's Tamilakam, Kalinga, Parava, Yaudheya, Sangzhuang up in the Tibetan Plateau, Napapakti, and Fogandulu over in Burma. So, I've decided after and also I had considered about doing Bactria, in which I thought a series of its kind with multiple mission trees sounds appealing, but I kind of want to, do an Indian-centric series first before I do a future Imperator Rome series as, Bactria into Indo-Greek kingdom. So I kind of want to do it first from an Indian perspective. So as you know, the video's title already, which kind of gives it away, the nation I'm going to be playing as is, no, not this one, over here, is Yaudheya. Yes, Yaudheya. Who are they? This is under hard difficulty, not easy like I did with the last series. Yaudheya. Rising as a powerful group out of the declining corpse of the Kuru kingdom, the Yaudheya were first recorded in the grammatical work Ashtadhyayi and the Ganapatha by the classical age Sanskrit philologist Panini. Their most important figures of societal values relied on Kshatriya Varna of Vedic thought, and thus were a powerful warrior society, their name even deriving from the word for warrior. As conquerors, they consolidated the old lands of the Kuru and took those of the Pauravas as well before contesting their independence against the onslaught of Maurya. So this is a subject nation to Maurya as a feudatory, which means they'll protect us if we are attacked and we'll join their wars. It can be made to an integral part of Maurya sometime in the future, limited by regard to diplomacy and all that. It gives us reduce legion maintenance costs while lowering the national citizen happiness, as you know, people like to be free and all that. So this series will be very different from the others due to the fact that as far as, you know, government types, this is the only republic on this side of the world, the exception of, you know, the other ones, little ones like Maka and Gerha, which are both democratic republics. Yaudheya is an oligarchic republic, which I'll explain that in a moment. So this is what it has: the heritage of the Kshatriya warriors. As I've already read the description of, it's sad, but anyways, this is what it does for us. Reduced aggressive expansion impact, which is good if you're going to be an expansionist nation, which isn't going to happen anytime soon, at least in the first half of the series, I predict. However, it has reduced diplomatic relations by 1. Similar to Sogdia, even though the difference is for the Sogdian heritage, it's -2, where you could say one ally is an ally too many for the Sogdians. In this case, for the Yaudheyans, it's just one ally is good enough. And also, farmland combat bonus plus 10%, as most of the terrain, at least in the hinterland, is mainly farmland, especially in the Indo-Gangetic plain, where there's plenty of farmland out there and down there. So you could say, don't fight us in our home turf because we can fight well in the farms. So, again, this is an oligarchic republic. The rulers reign 5 years. The rulers have to be 40 years to be elected. Can't be re-elected after 10 years. So, reduce wages, increase happiness, so as well. So as we know, an oligarchic republic restricts positions of power to the wealthy or a powerful minority. Compare that to a democratic republic like, say, Gerha over there, where you have to be 25 years to be elected, and can be elected every 10 years. Or plutocratic republic ones like Tarentum, just for comparison's sake. So you have to be 35 years to be elected. Now, I've only done about 2 playthroughs in the history of me playing Imperator Rome, where I played as republics. Tarentum, I previously mentioned, and Massalia, which later became a dictatorship, which is basically switched to monarchy. But here, this is an oligarchic republic, so that's a bit different. And also, one more thing before we get into this playthrough. The religion of India was changed in Invictus. No longer it was widespread Hinduism. Instead, it's separated by Vedic up north and in Lanka, and Agamic to the south. And of course, a spread of Jainism, Buddhism, and Ajivika to the lesser degree. So as far as I'm concerned, we will remain of the Vedic faith for the entirety of this series, no doubt, due to, you know, what this nation's characterized as. Now, as a reminder, Vedic is what that does is reduce the number of slaves needed for surplus by 1, which is good. Oh my goodness, minus 50% population promotion speed, just to reflect on the rather rigid Varna system. And the national noble output is up a bit. Vedic beliefs form what would become the Hinduism of northern India. It came from the Indo-Aryan settlers of India. It became widely followed across all of India, with the exception of the lands of the Dravidians. So yeah, do not expect me to convert to Jainism or Buddhism or Ajivikism. Instead, we're sticking with Vedic. So, let's get to it. you can see, this is our national flag here of Yaudheya. This flag is what is that lady's name? Kartikeya. One of the most ancient gods in an ancient land. Kartikeya is a god of war that commands victorious legions and leading them to unforeseen heights of his divine wisdom. Stories and legend cling to him like the morning dew. The six-headed slayer of demons, the bearer of 108 names. None can stand before him. Murugan is the primary god of the Tamil people and was also known to others as Kartikeya. Eventually became one and the same through Syncretism. So this gives us more military experience, which I love that. And each time we call it, morale of armies up. I just wanted to point out of who that is on the flag. We have the Dhammapada, the sacred Buddhist text written in verse form and well loved by the people. Since this is in our capital and it's our holy site of our deity of war, might as well put that in here. 1 second. Put that in. Like, so now we have a small increase of local population growth. Put that into use. Now. So, oh, and also due to being of the Vedic faith, you can choose a personal deity, but of course that's going to cost you some political influence, which is about to be spent on this. Yeah, there's so one civic idea. Go for standardized construction for reduced cost and time to build things. And we get to have 2 oratory ideas. Have sanctioned privileges to reduce corruption because I don't like corruption. Nobody does, especially in this republic. And to roleplay the fact that this is a militaristic oligarchic republic, gotta have military administration. Loyalty of generals and animals go up. And it activates monthly wages for characters reduced while increasing the national citizen happiness. And of course, the civilization value as well. So again, we're the subject nation to Maurya, led by Chandragupta Maurya, which of course the heritage is named after him. And also has the distinction that out of all the starting nations of the world, Patliputra is the only city, as far as my knowledge is concerned, looking around a map, that starts as a metropolis. So we're quite far from it. So let me provide a bit of history of Yaudheya, of how long have they been around. They emerged as an entity following the decline of the Kuru kingdom, ever since the end of it at 525 BC. So the Yaudheyas would eventually encompass the land formerly belonged to the Kurus, including their former capitals of Indraprastha, over there, though currently held by Maurya, Hastinapur, which we do have, and Asandivat, also known as Asan, which, let's see, you over here somewhere? No, because Kuru King would indicate over here. Unless I'm missing something. I'm just looking at the map. Like, actually, why don't you type it? There's a thing that exists to find a location. Asanda. Nope, doesn't exist. Okay, it's probably known by its different name. But it's located in the modern-day Karnal district in the state of Haryana, India. Southwest of Karnal. Ah, that's Karnal. It's probably referred to one of these areas. Right. Now, excuse me, get back to where you were before we get this series on. Once again, the Kuru kingdom back then was a prominent power in the Vedic age. The Vedic age was 1500 to 500 BC, but it fell in importance when compared to the other Mahajanapandas, which the Mahajanapandas I mentioned were 16 kingdoms and aristocratic republics that existed in ancient India from the 6th to 4th centuries during the second urbanization period, basically from 600 BC to 345 BC. So the Yaudheya was risen to prominence around this time. And they were later incorporated into the Mauryan Empire by Chandragupta Maurya, which they've also annexed the Pauravas. Chandragupta, under the tutelage of Chanakya, won over local kingdoms and republics in Punjab before conquering the Nanda Empire, which was another empire based in Magad, before, they expanded westward and all that. And it should be noted that Chandragupta relied heavily on the Yaudheya Gana in his campaigns. His military had a high representation of the Yaudheya Gana and similar republicans. Additionally, the Yaudheya elites and chiefs were appointed in imperial positions. And that is, the setup of who we are. That's why we're loyal vassals to the Maurya, and I will remain so. That's another thing I forgot to note for the first time of me playing Imperator, that I'm starting as a vassal to another nation. And there are no plans to declare independence anytime soon. All you gotta do is do a bit of politicking and a little bit of building tall, perhaps, in the future. So, this is the mission tree that's unique to them. The Lone Republic. The Republic of Yaudheya, or the Yaudheya Gana, was a militant republic centered upon the remnants of the former Kuru kingdom, finding itself as the backwaters between two of the largest river valleys in the world. The Yaudheyans exist as the sole republic in Janapanda. The Yaudheya now exists under the patronage of the Mauryans, who value the Yaudheyans' elite military. So this mission will be completed when the Yaudheya secures its position as a mighty military republic. That's the way it's going to be. Now, the mission tree may not look too extensive, but it's still interesting. Hence the reason why I decided to do this playthrough in the first place, for an India-centric playthrough that nobody's ever touched. So, first off, every Kshatriya a king. The Yaudheya were a warrior republic. In the West, we typically view this as an oligarchic republic. However, in Vedic India, the oligarchs typically represented the warrior Kshatriya class. This was especially the case in Yaudheya, which before I, implement that. The neighbor, Paurava, which of course that's the one with the heritage of the Kuru. Some believe that Pauravas and Greek recorded King Porus came from the Rigvedic era Kuru tribal confederation, which fought in a great battle of the 10 kings, which were defeated alongside their allies. For their own part, the Pauravas dwelling on the Punjab region were conquered by the Achaemenids as part of the Hindu Satrapi in 525 BCE, but had achieved independence under the recorded Porus by around 338 BC. The army of King Porus was the last great obstacle in the campaign of Alexander the Great. It would be the frontier region between the Hellenic world and the Greater East under Chandragupta, and the Mauryan Empire conquered it in the beginning of the pushback against Hellenic dominion. Paurava and Yaudheya are rivals, historically, and later in real history, it would be the Yaudheya who conquered them. And as far as the relationship of these two, and this is for you Western viewers that can understand this a lot better than what some may think regarding this part of Indian history. Think of the relationship between Paurava and Yaudheya It's like Athens and Sparta, but in reverse in government types. Parva is Athens, difference being it's a monarchy, while Yaudheya is Sparta, which is a militaristic oligarchic republic. So basically, the Yaudheyans are the Spartans of India. And there's a reason why the Mauryans value them highly. So now, to activate this, we need to enact the Assemblies of Soldiers Law, which upon completion we will gain approval with our fellow oligarchs and our leader for this current term, Chanakya, not to be confused with Chanakya, who is the one who taught Chandragupta a lot of things, and composer of the Arthashastra. So our Chanakya will gain 2 martial. This current is 7. We'll gain stability and political influence, knowing it's going to be spent on this. And it will gain oligarch's dominance for 180 months, reducing national citizen happiness, while the approval from the oligarchs goes up. So, before you do your first act, you should do a few things here. Knowing your march is going to go up to 9. And knowing that we do 5-year terms, and he's 28 years old, which means in 10 years he's eligible to be re-elected, but not until he turns 42 years old or something like that, depending on how long this takes. Anyways, so that does affect character focus. This is normally useful when playing as monarchies, but we're not a monarchy, which means every time when that term changes, whatever tree we worked on, you only would be able to get 1 perk. So you need to think wisely. Like, what would be useful to us? Especially if it affects the nation, not the character. Population growth is always good. Construction is always good. Province investment, even better. And our capital would have patronized temples, increasing tax. Same religion happiness. If I were you, I would go into nation building. You want to reduce the build cost and time more whenever you get a perk before this term expires, before we go on to the next. So yeah, construction focus would be the way to go. Now, the factions in the Sangha. The oligarchs want extended terms of lifetime. That won't happen. Invest in religious complexes. That'll happen. And Democrats grant rights to the Puran culture. Not going to happen, because political influence is about to be spent elsewhere. Assembly of Soldiers, correct? Yes, Assembly of Soldiers. Over here. Okay. So again, we start off with the Assembly of Residents. Ensure that all citizens of our boards have a voice to make their feelings known, will doubtless result in transparencies of our governance where backroom dealing is difficult to get away with. Not in my country. So, they endorse the legislative body to the Assembly of Soldiers. Our military must have a strong voice in government, acting as our sounding board for matters of conquest and relevant legislation. So this is going to cost you 15 stability and 35 political influence, some of which you'll gain back. That's my first act. take you 30 days. Which means in the meantime, we'll have the 3 capitals. We are not just one people. The Yaudheyans were a group of 3 states that can be generally centralized into one confederation. The capitals of administration thus were centered around 3 different capital cities or regions. So you can see over there. Rohtak, North Panjshir, North Rajasthan, which we will gain gold and more political influence. And in the meantime, trustworthy warriors, which we have to befriend Chandragupta Maurya whenever we get political influence again. The Maurya relied extensively on the warriors of the Yaudheya. In fact, the Yaudheya Confederacy provided Chandragupta many generals, chiefs, and military victories in his name, which we will send some Yaudheyan warriors to serve in the Mauryan army, like we have been early in his rule. Which would unlock this sabotage Parava decision. Grant rights to the Kshatriya, which that can be done if you enact the Master Dharana decision. What is this? To practice Dharana, the perceiver focuses fully on a single object, called the pratyaya. He strives to block out intrusive thoughts and remain centered on the pratyaya. Dharana is the first step of deep concentration meditation, by which the pratyaya is firmly retained in the mind, but the perceiver remains aware of the separation between himself, the perceived object, and the act of meditation. In Vedic belief, Dharana is the 6th of 8 limbs of Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. That requires gold, political influence, stability, and you gotta have the invention open religion. Not to mention it's going to cost you plenty of stability while you against prowess. So basically you must perform this first before you can do anything else further down the line. Whoever is the elected official, of course. So that means in regards to innovations, this goes first. And I saw mentions about something about investment. So I guess you get your provincial. I remember seeing it somewhere from earlier. Oh, wait a minute. Yes. You want, for the traditionalists, religious complexes in the province of Trigata. That's over there. No, Trigata's over here. But the problem is, what the hell for? There is no cities there. Why do you want me to invest there? But as long as it gets approval within the Sangha, basically Senate, I wouldn't worry about it too much because you're about to gain some more free prompt investments, so why not? Let's do it for them. Off the start. Now, the innovations. Get this for the discipline. I'll have to do that at the start of every playthrough. But open religion you need. That means you gotta go over here. So, monthly popularity gain, unintegrated culture group happiness up, and now you have the ability to build a great temple while having more integrated culture happiness. And as well as that it unlocks, you know, Master Dharana, which does eventually, you know, lead to, you know, grant rights to Kshatriya, because you gotta perform it first before you go further down the line. Trust me, I did some prior practice when playing this nation. Oh, and I got one more. I'm looking. Like anything that would be good for research in future. Like where do you find these? Just looking at the future, okay? I think you need to start with this. Bad research ratio will become an issue early on, but you can handle it. Now the trade, there isn't going to be much. We need a surplus of something. Get me a surplus of vegetables. What does this do? Noble happiness. We have no nobles. Population promotion speed would be good, even though the Vedic faith kind of restricts us a bit. But we do want a slight increase on population promotion speed. Because the Lord knows that we got a lot of tribesmen here. It needs to go up a bit. I would call upon Vayu, Vedic deity of autonomy. Vayu, the god of the winds, he is closely associated with Indra and is sometimes called the life breath of the world. It is said whenever Vishnu reincarnates, Vayu does too, covered eliminated. Vayu was one of the main gods of the Mitanni, showing their Vedic and Indic roots. Now here's the other two that we also have. Vishweshwara, Lord of the universe, will watch over our people and deliver them from the evils of the world. The temple of Vishweshwara, one of Shiva's forms, sits on the Ganges and is among the holiest places in Hinduism. And finally, Devasena. So great and powerful is the god Kartikeya that even his divine consort, the goddess Devasena, is worshipped as a minor deity by the faithful that seek a blessing. Makes sense of the starting pantheon. Despite our role as a militarist nation, we're not expected to go to war anytime soon unless Maurya says so. So, I think that just covers it all here to start this series off with after nearly 35 minutes. So, wait 30 days and then we'll move on. Let's go. As I said, this will be a much different series with a much different pace compared to, you know, the last series with Saba. Here it comes. The Kshatriya party, or the oligarchs, have been empowered. This great victory means that the Kshatriya warrior culture will be enshrined within a very republican system. Of course, while we must take care, no one Kshatriya is greater than the other. We certainly can proclaim each individual kshatriya as a king. The world will tremble at our militant republic. And approval goes up. Maybe we will soon also have approval from the traditionalists. Of course, now we get 2 free province investments, some gold, and some political influence. The 3 capitals of Yaudheya have been part of the identity of this confederation since the start. The prime administrative capital of Rohtak, the ancient capital of the Kuru kingdom, Hastinapura, and finally the region of Rodewala, where the country is ruled by no one capital, but still forms a distinct administrative zone. Each of these capitals should be developed further and prosper under our rule. We have funding from each zone, and it's up to us to distribute these funds to each administrative zone we see fit. These capitals will shrine. Now, Chandragut, I'd like to be friends with you. Married to Ladegisalugat. So I see. Anyways, all we need to do is to be friends with him. So just be a friend, and then you'll have trustworthy words, and I'll gain even more political influence, some of which might be spent during the befriending process. I hope I don't have to spend too much gold on it. Can declare war against Parava. And you know, further down the line, there's this. Which I think that will have to happen further down the line, in the far future, to be real honest. So you should focus on the here and now. Roaming and roam. Rest of all not to complete marriage with Maurya. So if I were you, I would build a city right now. This place, even though it's already the provincial capital over there, I do like its location. It's got a river and it's next to a major river. As you can see, the poverty's capacity. It's nearby a river and adjacent to a major river. Combine that, and you got ourselves one heck of a potential city. So we'll spend all that money on that right now. As it says, Rodewala is a region that would be later identified as a part of northern Rajasthan, which is where the 3rd administrative capital of the Yaudheyans lay. This part of the Confederacy is very much countryside, but serves as an important link to the West Punjab, a region that would historically come under the control and administration of the Yaudheya Republic in the 2nd century BC. Over there, Hastinapura homes. Hastinapura was a major city that's situated in the Bahudanyaka, literally translating to corn country. This land of corn comprised one of the 3 administrative republics within the Yaudheya Confederacy. Hastinapura itself was the old capital of the Kuru kingdom, in which the Yaudheyans were the successor state too. It was the capital of that old kingdom even back in the days of the Mahabharata. I know though that epic very well, personally. Trust me, I did some reading. Now, here in our capital, the largest of the three capitals and the de facto national capital, Rotak is the only capital still clearly known about today. Rotak remained the de facto capital of the Yaudheyans until they were eventually integrated into the Gupta Empire in the 1st century CE. So one of these following must be true. Invest here, which does affect there. Keep that one on. Did it say set it out of state infrastructure? Yes, it does. So I want you to spend this free investment on promote infrastructure spending for state infrastructure for the province here. It needs a conscription camp, excuse me, and an aqueduct. Astinapura will have this permanent effect over there, which would be good for it. Not to mention we gain money on that, in which we'll use that money, if need be, to go to there. Conscription camp here needs 92 to build an aqueduct. Making investments for the future. Now let's befriend Chandragupta. The official diplomatic channels offer many ways to impress and show our respect to Chandragupta Maurya. A diplomatic envoy is perhaps the most obvious, bringing gifts and publicly expressing our desire for friendship. We could also send a religious delegate to tour the temples of his country, or attempt to win the favor with the choice of our imposing soldiery. Look, I'm not expected to fight any wars soon, especially when it comes to manpower gain. So, our best warriors will turn his head. And plus, that's a tiny bit of a role-playing there. Because, Yaudheya, many of our men serve in his armies. And he likes our army. So, best warriors will definitely turn his head in. We served them well then, here, they're ready to serve you more. An outspoken critic of Chandragupta has been seeking refuge in our country for some time. He is a man of no importance, banished from his own land, and seeks alms and spread vicious rumors of debauchery and corruption about the court of Chandragupta. This could be an excellent opportunity to get in his good books. This is going to spend me some political influence. This wretch has abused our hospitality too long. Moderate progress. Twice we did. And not to mention this gains a bit of tyranny. Usually tyranny is bad, but actually tyranny helps. Because if I remember correctly, and I don't know if that were to be the case, because yeah, now we have no objective because it's impractical. That I think when you have hard tyranny, it actually increases support for oligarchs. Kshatriya in this case. Speaking of Kshatriya, there, now it's changed. Or moved, in fact. The Vedic caste law. We have the traditional Varna system, which has been placed for hundreds of years. This reduces the population promotion speed Noble happiness up, while freemen and slaves are not happy. There will be a day that we will grant rights to Kshatriya, which you must master Dharana first before you can enact this law. That's why I went ahead of time with this. You grant the rights to Kshatriya, population ferocity goes up, while citizens of freedom are happy, but slaves will still not remain happy. One day this is going to change when we have higher stability. And as well as approval. Tempted to make friends with Sudatta. Tempted to make friends with Sudatta. Befriending a character will demand certain costs over the course of the chain. If successful, Shunga Yadava becomes friends with Siddhartha as a researcher. We have received happy news from the province of Kuru, our capital province, where local officials report consistently abundant harvests after experimenting with new methods of land management. Leaving them to their work will no doubt swell the food stores of the province, but the managers and the practices might be more useful to distribute across the farms of Yaudheya. Permanent. Local. Globe. For 6 months. This is from Kuru will be a Konokuba. I don't know how you say that word. So, local monthly food modifier within our capital province goes up, which would no doubt help with the population capacity. Of all the ways of making friends, a gift is perhaps both the oldest and simplest. In a world of politics, wealth is shared generously and unconditionally has more influence than kind words of affection. How much is the friendship of Chandragupta worth? It's not much, but we want to be friends with him, so we gotta give him a large amount. In fact, with that kind of money, it'll take 4 months to make it all back, so the state has deep pockets. So we should be fine. I mean, it would be nice to reduce wages, but it makes very little difference. So don't mess with it. Construction camp, conscription camp constructed. Aqueduct needed. Our financial encouragers and local cults of the approach trigger out the renovation of old shrines and construction of new. Yeah, a lot that did good for it. If there's ever a city to be built in its future. Actually, there is one. Okay, but that will be in future. Well, we're gonna make these traditionalists happy. Delighting the gods, delights the people. Well, what do you say? Efforts to encourage a friendship between Chanakya and Chandragupta paid off. That's kind of odd, knowing that Chandragupta does have a friend in Chanakya. Well, are they really friends? Because there's more to it. Oh, again, we're not referring to this Chanakya, but Chanakya the Brahmin, who's also known as Kautilya or Vishnugupta. That's what he's also known as. The author of the Arthashastra, Book of Economics. This will take another 60 days, and I'll get all that political influence back. And unlocks the Sabotage Parava decision. So we'll hear it from you in 2 months. Partisans of the traditions are practically falling over each other to congratulate the Maharaja Senapati Chanakya for defending their interests in the Sangha of Yaudheya, ensuring the concerns of the conservatives were addressed to help win their support in future disputes. Politics is a game of compromise. So there you go, your approval is up. Further up. By encouraging investment in the province of Kuru, our local officials enabled many useless plots to now be better to put to better use. Nothing should go to waste. So we got that down. All it needs is an aqueduct. So we get that money and use that money to start investing in Rohtak. The Mauryan Empire is in the midst of its conquest of our whole world. The era of the Janapadas is long over at their hands. However, we have played our part in this, and we should continue to do so. Who but the mighty Kshatriya wars of Yaudheya have given Raja Chandragupta Maurya himself more victories than there is grain in Punjab? Who but we have rode elephants over the Hindu Kush, fought the remnants of Alexandros' empire, and slayed more men wholly Kartikeya as heads. Sons of Yaudheyan soldiers to Raja Chandragupta. So now Yaudheya has this permanent effect. Trustworthy Kshatriya warriors. +3 diplomatic reputation. +10 improved opinion max. +5% monthly military experience. And +5% increase of heavy and light infantry discipline. So, this is why I value that. And this is probably going to cause you some viewers to think, it's like, gee, how come nobody has played this country before? This is interesting. Especially when it comes to having more military experience. It used to be 0.34 every month. Now, 35. A small increase, but give it time. So now, while a marriage with the Maurya never happened historically, close relations with the Yaudheyans was more than common. In order to forge even closer relations with them, we can ask our overlords their hand in marriage, provided the pesky kingdom of Parava has not beat us to it. If they have, then we can still ask. It is likely that our proposal will be shot down. And now look. I have a daughter. This is my wife, which I never properly introduced. But she's pregnant. In fact, she's going to give birth next month. And let's not forget that Chanakya here. He's humble, healthy respect for one's own place in the grand scheme of things is what Chanakya keeps him going. Local freeman I'll put up as governor here. But he's also shy. He's quite shy. It's been noticed by all who have met him. Always timid around the others, whether they are those that he has known under admitted or for many years. This individual is too afraid to harbor any thoughts of treacherous ambition. And because of who he is, you know, a militaristic man, so just favor this character. So that way, in future, whenever he's, you know, out of the office for a good long while, till he's in his 40s, where he's eligible to be re-elected, he'd be an interesting character to watch in future. Yeah. Now, royal marriage. Impressed by a friendly ruler. That we do like. And a marriage of them would also lead to the rest of Yaudheya. And there's a good reason for that. Because the city's construction will be finished by October 31st of 452 next year, basically. This would help us, get us some land. So, it'll take about 25 days. Oh dear. I'm gonna divorce my current wife, who's about to give birth next month, and I'll be marrying this person who is currently married to Bindusara. Southern Maurya. She's easygoing, benefactor, and of course, more importantly, the blood of Chandragupta, which would be inherited by the offspring. Imagine that. Through this character, through this particular family, would be the one to have the blood of Chandragupta. Blood of Maurya. Yeah, let's go for it. Meanwhile, if you want to grant the rights to Kshatriya, the Yaudheya Republic is first and foremost a republic for the Kshatriya warrior caste. Let's make sure that it stays that way by having it dumped laws to ensure a future war culture. To do that, master the Rana first, then you can grant the rights. And marriage of Mauryan, and that would eventually lead to this. And of course, there's sabotage Parava, which that's a decision you can do now, which requires a lot of political influence. Attempt to sabotage the reputation of the Kingdom of Parava. You may attempt this once a year. To successfully sabotage it will increase if you are friends with Chandragupta, Silver Tongue, or have an exceptionally high charisma. However, having undesirable charisma or other traits will decrease your chances. So whoever is currently running the country, be careful who you're talking to. If you're that anxious to get rid of the Parava. Which of course leads to war, if successful. If you've got the political influence for that. And you're not going to get Malaya because that belongs to Maurya. But we can at least do that. And that. At the least. That's way out of our reach. Any owned province that has 30 pops, that's gotta wait. The news has come from Raja of Maurya, my Maharaj Sarabhati. The Mauryan Empire has accepted our marriage request. So I divorced my pregnant wife, and then I stolen, the wife of, Actually, who's this? Cove. Yes, divorced, and then I married this person instead of the other one. But oh well. A Maurya is a Maurya, even though she's uncoved. Definitely. And of course, that's not going to be my child when this child is born this coming November. So now, got this done. Rest of Walla it's gonna have to wait until this city is finished. So in meantime, just make your money and spend it on that aqueduct. A terrifying thunderclap over the skies of Rotak last night heralded a terrifying, awe-inspiring sight. The very fabric of creation seems to rent asunder by flame and smoke as if by the god of the sky himself. People cowered in their homes while seeking to avoid the certainty of the imminent wrath of the divine. Almost as soon as this manifestation had appeared, however, it crept away over the horizon, seemingly to settle in our territory of our neighbor, Maurya. Well, no kidding. In haste, the resident expert in matters of fate was summoned to explain this mystery. According to Jaloka, this event can only have been a message sent by the god of the sky, intended to legitimize our position as the chosen people. Jaloka insists that the god of the sky must have made a minor miscalculation when he sent his message into the lands of our Mauryan neighbors. That we must do in all our power to possess the settlement of Kaganwala, where the divine communique must have landed. That's in Rodewala. Wait a minute. Settlement of Kaganwala. In Rodewala. I know Rodewala. So, how exciting. Owning the territory will continue to eventually. We just gained stability. Alright. So. Over there. And getting the rest of it, I would get possession of that. Oh, I'm excited for this. I never expected a common event comes this early in a playthrough. That is unexpected. We gotta definitely keep good relations with the Mauryans to tell us, hey, give us this strip of territory over here, and then we'll have it on the area where that comet landed. So in the meantime, the office. Jaloka, he's our, this office is a senior priest and the Republic's chief interpreter of the will of the gods, the paraspace. It's just to memorize these positions, you people. Mantri is this office. This office is the Republic's chief magistrate responsible for state census, public morality, clear blockages, and the Senate and the courts. By Senate, you mean Sangha. The Pradesh Retreat. This office manages the Republic's economy and conduct of foreign and domestic trade, ensuring smooth flow of currency and goods. The Sanapati. The office oversees the quality of the Republic's military by managing their training, logistics, and discipline. Karanika. This office is in charge of administering the Republic's treasury by ensuring the collection of taxes and a payment of military pensions. The Poruhita. This office is the chief high priest of the Republic, responsible for overseeing the priesthood, conducting state sacrifices, and religious festivals. The Kamika is always represent the Republic's freemen with the authority to check the power of the Senate and intervene on the behalf of the freemen and courts. And finally, the Vadea. This office is the most senior doctor of the Republic and is responsible for the care of the senior politicians and their families. Oh, by the way, my new wife, who's that child? Shashigupta Maurya. And this is my son from my previous spouse who is now married to this. But, however, it's a Mauryan now. But Whereas for me, this child, born and going to be raised here. Now keep in mind, as a republic, I can't do anything in regards to, you know, actually, hold on, relations with me. Now, when it comes to my children, I can't, you know, interact with court tutor, with the royal tutor or anything like that. No, that's out of my hands in the republic. Keep that well in mind. Whatever they have, that's what they're going to be blessed with. Oh. Aqueduct. Build it. And it's going to take us quite a while. Maurya at war. At war against Cambodia, Gandhara, and Kasa. I'm part of this, as well as Arakosia and Gadrosia. I will not intervene on this matter, as we do not have the manpower to support foreign wars, especially one that's quite far from our territory. So no need to worry. The army of the infinite will serve them well, including some of our warriors that's in their army, rather than our own army of the Republic. As I've stated before in the previous two series with Sogdia and Saba, but what makes this different? Well, deified as the living God and the spirit of the nation, Bhadrabahu Kosala surely breathes, bleeds, and dies just as any mortal. This is a scheme to propagate influence in Maurya. Birth the dignity that follows the old god Bhadrabahu Kaga may strike back. He was the Jayan. Dravidian, local power Kuntala is where he hailed from. Yep, they're taking the Grand Trunk Road. At least it starts with a road. There we go. You finished siphoning funds. You gained some corruption for that, but that will go away in time. Not too concerned about popularity. At least, I mean, look. I'm not expected to be in an election for long. Not till I'm in my 40s. So if I were you, I would try to gain some more political influence, knowing you're going to be using some more of that in the future. Malek Ketu is the current Raja of the Pauravas, the 5 Marshal. Our extension then of new projects and investments to local infrastructure has seen Chistian grow from relative immunity to a true Yaudheya city. While it still has some way to go before it can rival the great cities of our age, the past 2 years have ushered in a new era of growth and urbanization to this territory. These are the best of times. This once produced grain, but now it will produce cloth. So now, correct nobles, citizens, freemen, tribesmen, and slaves will appear in this new city as Tishan gains Yaudheya's new city for the next 60 months, increasing the local population growth, city building slots, import routes, and migration attraction. It's a brand new city, so people would want to come over there, especially that it's one with a river and a major river next to it, and it has a crossing which should be kept well in mind. I mean, it leads to Malia, but still. Ah, two things though. Yes, you do have relations increased because currently at war. The land of Yaudheya has never been very centralized. Off the banks of the river Satluj and on the edge of the desert south, it has struggled to become as civilized as the rest of our rich lands. No longer as this is the case as we've built a proper city to handle administration of Yaudheya. This will help both the people of Yaudheya to prepare under our confederacy while strengthening our ability to traverse the desert of Rajasthan to our south. Let's stroll along the Suj. They have appeared now. This has pops of 30-22, but we need to get to the rest of Yaudheya, which our relationship with the Mauryan puts us in position to ask for them for investments in our country. As we have a city in the area of Yaudheya, the Mauryans may find our administration of the region worth granting us their half of it. All we need to do is move some people over to the new capital over there, the new provincial capital of the city that's been built. Just move some people over, and then we gain the land, including the area of Kangawala, where that comet landed. So, alright, it's moving day, everybody. Well, there's a problem. There's only 4. And you know, 22 plus 4 is 26. So that's not good enough. So, the best way to implement that is, well, got a centralized population, encourage people to come over there. Especially that this is a brand new city, so. There's no incoming migration just yet. Just wait till we unpause it. Okay, try again. Look again. Trying to centralize it. You tend to integrate with me. I mean, thanks for the money, but I don't like that. Because if they try to integrate with me, that's game over. Yes, it's 200, and they're allowed to integrate, although it hasn't been 10 years' time. So I got an idea of how to tell them to stuff it, since we got all of that. And as well as, you know, it doesn't really matter much anymore due to... Aha! Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Send an insult. There you go, that'll lower it. Keep them away from being integrated with us. So I'll just say, no map shall remember your name. I'm trying to be smart. That's the reason why we did that. And you could do it again in the next month if you wish to. But I think once is good enough. Thanks for the money, though. Tell them to stuff it. can use that money for construction. Anyway, so the aqueduct will be finished in a year, and then we will gain a lot of money, which is to be used to build court of law and construction camp. That's all it needs. Ah, yes. We'll do that since we've done this. So, this guy's construction camp and court of law. Conscription. Why do you get the word conscription and construction mixed up? Send me more gifts if you wish to, Judge Go. Send me more money. Send me more money and I'll insult you. Nothing we can do about that. If you want to improve relations again, well, all we need is just some people to move over to the new city. That would take years now. Chanakya, for reasons only known, has begun to view Mahanandinanda with jealousy and distrust. Even having them in the same room as one another is bound to result in hostility. Troubling. That's not from a prominent family. Just remember, gold is needed. Big drop stability gives you the ability to, you know, to implement these. This would be very helpful. And we're about to get this done, so we'll have that court of law built in no time. Since it needs 4 building, might as well build a library as well. Breakthrough. The talent of Luna Sivanimra knows no bounds. In his role as researcher, he dictates that his capacity for further innovation has increased. We are sure to benefit from this situation. Splendid. Again, I do want to go down this way. Another import route is always good. How about some wood, just for local manpower go up a bit. Yeah, just wait for money to come in. Jack, I think you should build a library just to jump ahead of time. And then once that's done, then you get your money, and then library's finished, and you get your court of law. Just be patient. Oh, by the way, since we're a subject nation, there can't be a civil war ever. No matter how much disloyal characters there are. Vajira Jenam has, by all accounts, remained a scholar of the divine woman for much of her life. This caused some embarrassment, therefore, she was discovered extorting a local temple to an egregiously unreasonable degree before reprimanding Vajira. It must be said it would be expeditious to our efforts to influence her if we were to brush this under the table. Very well. Use it when you need it. Yeah, I'm a bit of a crook, but over time, even before I get re-elected when I'm in my 40s, I'll be slightly less corrupt next time. One more month. Vandals in our land. I'm not talking about tribal vandals. I'm just saying, you know, like we got enemies in our territory. Aren't you guys gonna go take care of that? Yeah, they're heading in that direction. But they got a level 8 general. Don't make me come over there, because I'm not gonna stand for it. Especially if they head to that direction. So you know what? Go ahead. This is gonna cost me some money for this. Let's assist them on this one. Earn your pay. They're likely gonna be heading in that direction. Here we go. Hastinapura was the old capital of our parent entity, the Koru Kingdom. Although we have replaced the ancient kingdom, we certainly have not replaced their great capital, Hastinapura. Remains a sanctuary of Koru people, and recent expansion will let it continue to grow despite its most ancient origin. Hastinapura is so nice and homey. That would definitely help economically. And I get a free province investment. Now use that money to build more wall. And what else? Stanivasara is a growing city of high prevalence. While it is yet to become the capital of any nation, it would eventually come to be the capital of the mighty empire of Harsha in the 6th century CE. Its origins lie in the age of antiquity, where it will rise like a star. So, it's got the population. It needs a forum, conscription camp, and a fortress. And needs either a theater or grand temple, which we do have the ability to build a temple. And at least 2 of the following must be true to make these investments known. forum, conscription. Again, we're going to be jumping ahead of time with this. Forum, conscription. Invest. We have 2. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, they are heading this way. No, no, no. That's going to take away some of the population and make things difficult. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 22 plus 7. It's not enough, and also we're about to lose some to Casa. We gotta get them off. Stop them. Bottleneck appears to be our best tactic. Oh, we're about to lose some pops here. How many did we lose? 2 to 2 died, so we lost 4. Bastards! Let's make them pay. We'll cross the river and we'll likely win. With friendly reinforcements to come soon. We're not winning this battle here, but I'll come over here and help. We took a river crossing and we had a bad roll. So we're holding on. Liberated for us. I'm actually thinking about going after Gandhara itself. They're gonna pay for this. Take the city back. Heated debates in the Sangha are not uncommon, especially where so many prominent members of society are involved. Lately, a wave of xenophobia has swept across the Yaudheya, resulting in foreign values being regarded with great distrust. All attendants to today's debate agreed that Sudatta has crossed the line today when he accused Maharaj Sonapati Chanakya indulging in barbaric Celtic beauty practices. Turn here and shake. Chanakya and Dhanananda have spent the last several weeks in deep debate on a number of issues they share strong feelings on. A recent open discussion of Sangha, Dhanananda has challenged Chanakya directly, expecting the Rishikar to hold some sway. Ironic given the names when you think about Indian history, with the end of the Nanda Empire and the rise of Maurya. Sometimes a friend can be worth only one's pride. He's a researcher. Who knows where they're going to retreat to? Rise of Rotok. Nobles and citizens that are free will appear there. Rise of Rotok. Rotok is the closest thing we have to a true capital. In a way, it is the capital of our capitals. The glorious city grows even more. It serves as a link from the Ganges River Valley in the east to the Indus River Valley of our people. The Maharaj is in Maharotak. Yeah, we're further away from 30 pops now because of what they did. We can move a few pops over here and yeah, and we'll get Indraprastha and Varana. Two of our noble families, the Pratavidya and the Janavijaya families, are kin of the legendary story told in the Mahabharata. And from that story, we are told that our predecessors, the Kuru kingdom, was founded with Indraprastha as the first capital, established by the Pandava brothers themselves. We have every right to rule over the city. We must assist to the Mauryans as soon as possible for its return to us. So you're talking about these two families here. Like besides the ruling family as of this term. So these two families are kin to the legendary story told in my brother. Huh. Well. So they're like that in a way. Okay, let's move a few over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, here's some wood. That's spearman offense if we have spearmen. And get some grain for global monthly food modifier. Always good to have. This will take 180 days for them to say, alright, these two areas are yours. So at least we'll get those, especially in Indraprastha. They'll be going in after them. We should be alright. I would like to besiege the countryside. First to Purashpura. Want to make them pay. That's one. Give it state infrastructure there. Just making sure. Make those bastards pay. While meanwhile we'll slowly march up. Wanted to live in peace until they took my people away for the new city, which it would take a while for everybody to try to migrate over there, at least one. And yeah, it doesn't help that it's been looted recently. There are ways, you know, to try to increase. Ah, that's a way. Screw it. Build a tavern. Some politicians can't simply avoid consorting with the common folk. The ringleader of this row, however, is one Guru Mitra brings an interesting deal to the table. In return for the support of the many deplorable populists, he would demand that we close an important routes to our capital, thereby providing local people with greater control over their own affairs. Trade protection. The hell's the matter with you? But that's probably dissatisfaction. So for the next 2 years, you want me not to have an import route. So that means we shut one down. War's over. Gandhara remains independent barely. You know, there are ways. Let's count again. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Move them all over. Actually, no, we can't because how much they cost each time you move them. Give it a bit of time. And stop moving. Okay. We were so close. And yeah, sorry I insulted you. I have to improve relations with you soon. As soon as we get the population situation in control. But that would be up to my successor, which is likely going to be Siva. Depressed, scholar, and impartial. That's what we know of that man. He's a traditionalist party leader. The Mauryans occupied the territory of Indraprashta, but now it has been returned to us. In times of the Kuru kingdom of old, when our 2 noble families, the Janamejaya and the Pratividaya's ancestors fought over the realm in an epic story, Mahabharata. After the Pandava brothers won, Indraprashta was birthed from the peace from that war. We are the rightful successors of the Kuru kingdom, and thus we are the rightful heirs to the glorious city. Indra's city is once more ours. So we spent some political influence on that, and these 2 little areas there, it's ours again. Alright. That's good. So now it needs is a temple, which those can be pretty expensive. To build a grand temple, you need 182 to build one of these. And you gotta have, also the amount of buildings to be built there, including a fortress. Let's not forget about fortress. In which after that, then you got yourself a fortress, and then you are going to be at war with them, which would help out with its expansion. That's what will happen in future. Now all we need is just get some population to move over. Improve relations with Maurya again before I insult them again. And then go to war against Nabaka. Unless they did it first, and then we got ourselves an issue. Thank you very much. Yeah, building a tower just to increase the population growth slightly. Just to help it in the long run. But at least there's people moving over to the countryside. Who's Oligarchic? Different southern areas. No concern. Actually, Navaka is being occupied by Zhangzhuang right now. So that could make the mission a bit null and void, right? Structurally for this country that would be affected. It's always good to have reduced build time and reduce the cost a little. You could build 3 of these. Provincial loyalty would be a bit of an issue. Also further exacerbated by the unrest of freemen and citizens. Citizens make unrest more, so give it to them. It affects province loyalty. Keep that well in mind. Don't get too jittery. That whole thing with the province loyalty, I don't think it matters. That was from this mission. You're fine. Save your money just to move a couple pops over. Worry about loyalties later. And then we'll get these lands. It will be golden. Now I want you to count again. You have 18. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Check back again in a couple months. They're about to be conquered by Zhangzhuang as a whole. What would that mean for the duds of Devya Praga? And also, we have to need to be at peace for this. Fleeing the dreadful war with Kalinga. A number of important dignitaries have managed to escape to our lands, hoping to find refuge. Our advisors recommend against giving them asylum due to the fragile political circumstances in our region. Indeed, much favor can be granted with Kalinga if we were to finish their job for them. Well, do welcome them. We almost had it. It's just these guys. Oh, that was a bit frustrating. I do really like the Antigonos' death has, combined with the recent setbacks, fractured the stability of the Cyclops' kingdom. His heir and co-king Demetrius, unable to hold together expiring loyalties of his subjects, has abandoned much of the kingdom to the claims of the other Diadochi, while he retreats to lick his wounds among Greek friends. Fortune is a fickle friend. Well. You know what? Do it. Move them all. Oh, you barely made it. Okay, look. Moving everybody in is not always a good idea. In regards to, you know, province loyalty of where that lies. It's like, okay, you got your pops, but now you need to improve relations with Moria again. Which, since we're at war and aiding, since we're aiding them as our allies, we should be alright. And cancel the improve opinion once you've reached to them. Okay? A sizable quantity of tribal people in resident settlement of Karnals request permission to local minister office to cross the border to our landowner and neighbor, Nabaka. The request comes back with generous promise of gold, but our local officials are reluctant to lose such lucrative workers. Well, they're all about to be conquered anyway. We have no need for their type. Let them go. Thanks for the money, though. Spent it on trying to improve relations with Moria. And we'll use that money in the future to, oh, I don't know. Let's not forget. Temple. Fortress. Also, election's about to come up soon. So, the leader of the traditionalists is going to take over, and he's, 30 years old rather than 40-something. Okay. They just couldn't find anyone younger? So again, election day is on October 1st. So get ready for stability drop. While we'll still perform the tasks to do what the last administration did. Right. So with the traditional control, Omen power up. They wish to invest. They would like to province Koru for province fortifications. While oligarchs bestow the foreign holdings of the heads of families. Assembly of citizens or Democrats? Oh no, that ain't happening. He was previously a researcher, but since Shaka's got somewhat good charisma, but statesmanship is gonna definitely help out here. So he'll take up that position. Not to mention he's the friend of the Raj. And since we lost that friend, that means it's gonna take a while to improve relations with Moria again. Continue your investments. speaking of investment, we're gonna need to get that Free Proud's investment. Philosophy focus. Scholar impartial. But depressed. Nothing you can do about depression. So he's training. The leader of the Democrats is going to be next in line. Which, of course, it all depends on success score. It has to be at least 40. So I guess it's just by default. It's only young people who are running things around here. We lost one. We can move one back in if need be. When that time comes. Just remember, they don't forgive insults too easily. For what we, did to them. Look up there. Oh, they got him. There's still hope for them yet. What's cheaper, Fortress or Fortress? Right, it's because our previous one here has the finesse. I have some, but not a lot. Keep that well in mind. Oh, and if I were to lead my troops, I'm not the man for it. Leader of the Democrats? Still considered poor with the marshal. Remember, whenever he's back in charge, or someone else that's qualified for that matter, they should. The governor of Rodeval is a particularly weasel-like man. The fact that is making itself clear now more than ever. So we can stir up the people of his governing, perhaps hoping to challenge our rule. Unfortunately, he's well regarded in this locale. The response must be made with care. Oh, double hell. We cannot move against him. Let him be. Even though we do encourage growth and migration. Oh, they came back. They're definitely gonna conquer them all. War's over for them. Yep. So this means that this should declare war on Nabaka. It's like, yes, war's declared, but that nation doesn't exist, so you basically get a free pass. Except you lose some political influence for no reason. So, yeah, this first episode has been pretty eventful. That doesn't involve too much warfare, unlike, you know, what it did in the past two series. Their first episodes, I should say. It's just more about, well, hey, let's just try to keep things cool, okay? I could send you a gift as a cheap way to... Actually, no. There's a better way. Appeasing stance. Opinion of our subjects with loyalty is one thing. Let me see. Reduced gift cost. I'm just looking. Obviously, mercantile is excellent. Haha. There's a better way to do that. Because I wanted to end the episode of Yaudheya for the beginning of this series by doing two things. Move one of them, and then mission complete. The task complete, I should say. 1 second. Cause has begun displaying a manner most unpalatable. When questioned on any matter of import, he simply stares blankly at his question and utters a single word. No. Task complete, but first, what is one? Sometimes facts are just facts. His charisma is lowered. It doesn't have much Senate influence, as he once says. And it doesn't help with that improved opinion maximum being reduced, but we did what we did. So, there you have it. This will take us a month. 30 days. Also, stop improving relations. You want to keep that lowered. So don't integrate you. Unless I have to insult him again. He accepted our request to control Yaudheya. The din of the people of the region can be heard all the way in Rotem. What joy diplomacy brings! And we got it. We got to the area where that comet landed. In which I'll have to say, cool, scientific breakthrough. Chanakya, our man, thinks he's just about to make a notable scientific breakthrough in the research he's currently working on. All he's needed is more supplies and funds for the next couple of years. To be able to get his hands on some of these prosperous are Maharaj Sanabati Karasiva, if he could be given access to them. The rest of our research will certainly suffer if we were to make this move. Perhaps it's worth it after all. Screw it. He'll get everything he needs. Okay, we do have possession of this land, which also gives us the people that lived there. So at least we've expanded all the way to there where those two rivers meet. So for now, just save your money for a grand temple. And after when that one is finished, and then you declare war on Nabaka, which doesn't exist anymore, which of course has to be done once we're at peace. And then at that point, we'll just have to focus on ourselves. As we've reached 2 hours. So we'll stop this episode when the fortress is complete. And I'll pick the innovation for the next episode. There. So, it's been a pretty productive first episode for a military republic. There's still more work to do in the next episode, such as, all this. Yeah. And then we gotta start looking the other way to find a way to grant the rights to the Kshatriya. We do have the support of the Sangha. All we need is some pretty good stability. But you also need to master Dharana first, which you do have the money for it, but it's gonna cost you. Yeah. It'll definitely cost you. And you can sabotage Parava whenever you wish to. Particularly if anyone who's friends with the Mauryan ruler. Particularly you, whenever he gets re-elected. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That was the first episode of Yaudheya. And we hope you're excited for the future of this video series where independence is not an option. Maurya is too powerful. Instead, we'll remain loyal vassals, but not too loyal. As far as... Look, here's an advice for you people. Do not let the Mauryan opinion or our opinion reach 180. That's the magic number to say start integration. That's what that's for. You do not want to have that. So that's the key. So we'll see you in the next episode. But until then, so long for now.